Welcome to the ProBrick exclusive YouTube channel where we help tradies and folks, guys and girls, look at things in a way in which it's going to be a benefit to their life. If you haven't subscribed, ring the bell, share and comment as well on the video. Thank you for joining me. This is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, otherwise known as ProBricky, from the ProBricky Facebook page, which is now ProBricky Next Generation, where the next generation is moving up into their, just about moving out into their own businesses now. This morning's subject is on sometimes you need to walk away. I do bricklaying with a friend of mine every now and then, possibly once a month, maybe twice a month, just to get away from my business and to be in his presence. I won't say his name relative to the context of this video, which is about sometimes you need to walk away. And that isn't easy. See, by nature, we're faithful people. We're usually devoted. And our faithfulness and devotion can be subtly or even cunningly taken advantage of. And sometimes we're in a place or situation where it would be of more benefit for our growth in person, be it personally, business-wise, or for the family, where we would be better off to walk away. Now, my friend was with a boss for many, many years. And I've been in this place as well, and I'm sure many of you have, where you've served for your pay. You've been paid. Nobody owes anybody anything. But it's just gotten to the point where it's time to walk away. Now, I've experienced this, just let me tell you, from the religious side. When you're involved in a church, the church can put an obligation on you to have more value and connection to the place than what you should. So your church should be a free, open door for the public to walk in and out of, and if they feel it to, they give donations to the church to keep it operating. Most churches have enough money to operate on their own. But you give donations to the church and things like this, and help with the church, time and things. And I'm on my morning walk. You can become very devoted and overly devoted and overly faithful to the church. And then what happens is, as you feel as though something isn't right, the situation isn't right, or the church has done something that's not right on a continual basis, then you might feel that it's time to leave. But by virtue of faithfulness and devotion and conscience, something inside you won't let you walk away. And this is called blinded by faithfulness and devotion. I always used to say, don't let your faithfulness and loyalty blind you from the life that you should be living now. Now, every time I've walked away, and in all of my relationships, I've been the one that's walked away. Been driven to the point where I've fucking decided I'm going to have to walk away, unfortunately. And it's about personal value as well. How much you value yourself or how much you don't. That'll give you the ability to walk away in the first place. I mean, honestly, it comes back to not being over attached to things, being, faithful and loyal and devoted to things, but we become over attached. And when you become over attached, it's very hard to undo the psychological adhesive the faithfulness and loyalty can cause, particularly in a relationship where you want everything to work out and all that stuff, make things work. G'day, mate. And keep things on track and stuff. Well, some people are more tolerant than others, and they'll put up with stuff that's not healthy for them more than others. But what that does is validate behavior, or validate a resistance to not solve the problem or fix the issue. And if you do that, it's 9 times out of 10, 99.9% of the time, it's not going to be fixed. Again, coming back to bricklaying, if somebody's not laying their bricks to the line as accurately as they should be, and you're constantly asking them to do that, and they're not, and you've come to the point where it's easier for you to ignore it rather than get frustrated and possibly angry because they're just not bringing in the performance that they should, that they're being paid for. Everybody's going to suffer. Everybody. Because you're not going to get paid, which means they're not going to get paid, which means the business isn't going to be reputable, and eventually there's a big shutdown and everybody ends up with nothing. That's why skill's important. And so sometimes it's time for you to tell somebody else to walk away. Now, that could be the greatest lesson that you could teach someone. Now, let me tell you a bricklaying experience I had that I wouldn't wish on anybody. We got a job with one of the companies down in Sydney, and we got sent to a set of units. This is a bricklaying company, so I'm on wages. We got set to a set of units after coming out of the city restoration job. Not Fusion, another company. And so we're doing the face. I got sent to a panel that was already started to continue with the face work. Now, the face bricks were these ones that were 1 or 2 mil different in sizes. So you're constantly having to adjust your perps around that. You know what that's like. That can go bad pretty quick. I didn't do the set out, and the joints were about 15 fucking mil in size, which is way too big and doesn't leave you much room for fucking error, particularly when the bricks are different sizes. So if you get a full fucking bundle going through as the pallets come to you of small ones, your perp sizes are going to be even bigger. Well, this is a problem. I always say, if you're going to set out with your maximum joint size of 10 mil, and if a cut needs to go in, put the cut in, and be happy with that. Well, I got put on this wall and I ran the first course, and I must have had a batch of smaller bricks, and the fucking joints were gigantic. And I said to the other brickie that I was on the wall with, I've gone, what the fuck's going on here? Well, we could not for the life of us make it work, but it was too late to change bond or anything like this, so we balanced it all out. We had about fucking, I don't know, the joints were too big, let me say that. And you're in this position where you're going to be accountable for somebody else's initial set out, for somebody else's set out. And so sure enough, the fucking bloke running the company comes over and he goes, that's no good. And I'm thinking, I know it's no fucking good, but guess who gets the blame? I got the blame. So I just took it on the chin. The next thing we go, and it didn't look good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good for me. Anyway, because the boss said, well, even though the set out is the way it is, still could have balanced out the joints better and made them more even, etc. You couldn't have, but you get what I'm saying. So we go to another panel, and the profiles have been set up. Everything was in order. We got the speech, don't fucking, blah, blah, blah. Do this, do that. We get started, and we're with another brickie, and he's moved one of the profiles. He said, I'll just smooth it because I said, I don't know if you should do that. He goes, yeah, it's okay. So he moves the profile. So we're going along. And as we're approaching the top, I'm saying, geez, I don't know if this is... Oh, no, all right. Boss comes along. Who moved the profile? Guess who was standing at the profile? I was. Who moved the profile? You? I just went, yeah, it was me, but it wasn't me, it was the other bloke. And he said, well, we're going to have to let you go, mate, because da-da-da. Sometimes you get put in situations that aren't necessarily your fault, but you'll be responsible for. And you've got two choices. Do you throw the person that's actually done it under the bus? Under the bus, which is easy to do, or do you just go, I don't belong in this place? Sometimes it's better for you, and I believe most of the time, rather than throw people under the bus and get other people in trouble that need to be accountable for what they've done. But if they're not going to put their... And as a matter of fact, he didn't put his hand up and go, I moved the profile. That's the world that we live in. Denial. So in all reality, he threw me under the bus rather than saying, oh no, hang on a sec, I put the... he was standing there, but he wasn't going to put his hand up. Sometimes, guys, you're going to be in a situation where it's not your fault, but you'll get the blame. And this happens a lot when the person that you're with meets another bloke. And the next thing, you get the blame, and possibly there is room for you to take the blame for her cheating. Cheating's common today because people get resentments and bitternesses through unresolved, and the next thing they feel better about themselves by sleeping with somebody else as a form of pleasure and punishment for the person that they're actually with. And you'll get the blame. Almost inevitably, a woman, if she cheats, will blame the person that she's with. I've met a girl in Newcastle one night, blonde, hot little piece. This is true, guys. Oh, will you come back for coffee? I don't drink coffee, I'll come back for water. I knew it was going to be bedroom fun. Straight into the bedroom, running it through. Not my place, wouldn't know who she was, what the background of the family. Little girl comes to the door. It's one of the worst experiences I've ever had. I'm running a mother through. Little girl comes to the door. Mom, who's that? And of course, I don't drink or anything, so I was fully conscious. This woman was a little bit full, horny as hell, having a great time. And the place was a mess. I think she had 3 children. This was the younger. No sign of the father, obviously. I'm in a bed. Nice place, but a mess. You can see what's going on inside these people by the way that they live. And so she gets up and says, oh, it's all right, honey, and puts the little girl back. Come on, these children aren't blind. She's just watched Mum lying in bed with a bloke that will never be back again anyway. And how does a little girl's mind wrap itself around that? Now, that wasn't my fault. See, look, I didn't know what the circumstances of that woman was, and quite frankly, I didn't care. When I went there, it was there. I was going for bedroom fun, and I got it. But at what expense? What accountability was that woman going to take for what that little girl's mind probably went through? See, that's how next generations get harmed and maimed. Because somewhere in that little girl's psyche, she'll form spiritually, emotionally, and mentally form with the concept that it's okay to swap and change partners. And that's how generations come undone. That's how we are where we are now. Oh, Mum, why is Daddy wearing your dress? Mum, Daddy's got your shoes on. This kind of thing. And the next thing, the little boy thinks that he has to, or in his mind, likes to dress up as a girl. And the next thing, his mind tells him that he should be a girl. And that's where the alphabet people have got us to today. Etc., etc. You can see what I'm saying. It doesn't just happen. It can be via trauma and crisis. And another instance, Newcastle, had trained in the morning, worked all day, surfed into the night. You could surf in Newcastle Beach in the dark. The city lights would light up the beach, which is a fucking, looking back at it, a stupid thing to do. Since I've studied sharks and their behaviour, how I never got attacked by a shark, all those thousands of hours floating out there on my own, night and day, early morning, sunrises, sunsets, I thank God that I'm alive. And so I meet a chick that was a much younger chick than I, that used to go to, she was coming into high school when I was going out of high school. But by this time I was 25 and she was 21. So it all gets friendly. Her and a sister, we go and get some pizza. And they say, well, come back to the unit, come back to the hotel room with us. And I'm going bedroom fun. And I get the older sister, and I'm lying there with her. And the next thing, they've suggested that the younger sister wants her fun as well. So I got the younger sister as well. Where did all that come from? What was the tag team mentality? I was fucking exhausted the next day. This went on for hours. It was quite an interesting night. But I left that hotel. They were asleep when I left. I went surfing at sunrise. This is the depravity. This is the desperateness. This is the lust that's within our communities. And so I set out and said to myself, I just want to be a normal bloke with a normal girlfriend and have a normal life. But that's harder than it seems. I'm telling you, it's harder than it seems. Otherwise I wouldn't be walking, thinking about life like I am now. Dozens and dozens of women later, beautiful women by the way, 2 marriages, and many women in between those marriages, really damaged women, damaged beyond compare. This is why I know a lot of women surrogate their children. Because they're on their own long enough to build relationships with their children that not just caters to the parental child role, but goes beyond that due to lonelinesses and things, where it becomes a parent-child surrogate relationship, as it were, sometimes with, sometimes without physical sex as well, unfortunately. And again, this is all on the surface looks normal, but once you get behind closed doors, it's not. I remember a woman, and I'm just showing you that sometimes it's not your fault, but you will have to take the blame. There's a lot of people in jail that have not committed the crime, but will serve their life sentences or whatever the sentence is for crimes they haven't committed. This is more of a sociological form of looking how responsibility and accountability works outside the penalties and things of the law. This is just within society and community itself. There's a lot of women, there's a lot of sexual stuff that goes on out there, guys, that isn't benefiting anybody at all. And that's why there's so much mental health in every aspect and respect. I'm not going to go through all the different fucking spectrums of mental health disorders and shit, but that's why there is, though, because the old-fashioned values and the blessings that come with those values have gone. The problem today is because the structure of marriage has been undermined so badly, and it is so easy for people to walk away. There'll be tears and things, but they're usually disingenuous, because if you can stand at an altar and go, I give the rest of my life to you, and then in the next breath, oh, this doesn't suit me, so I'll see you later. And some of the reasons for this can be absolutely atrocious. Oh, I didn't know I was going to find you in bed with another bloke, or, when the problem was really minimal, but the way in which that person dealt with the problem under duress, inside the demands, personal moral demands of a marriage, can cause somebody to just go and have an affair. Some people don't like the challenge of morality. They think they can do it, but they don't like it, and the way that they bust out of the bonds of that is to have an affair. So when do you know it's time to walk away? Just one more example, guys, before I go on with that, and I'll wrap this up. I met a woman, fucking very beautiful woman, South African woman, and this was a crazy experience. She had this 17-year-old 6'4" son living with her. Now remember, you don't know the backgrounds of these people, so obviously her marriage was not intimate at all, but the son, the golden child, was her go-to for mental and emotional and that kind of thing, comfort instead of the husband. She despised the husband and used the son as her mental and emotional, as it were, and probably part intimate without the sex, I think, go-to partner. So I meet this woman, and we get it on. She asked me to come over. Not long after, I start staying there for bedroom fun, to see whether a relationship could develop or not. And this woman really did miss out on the sexual side of life. She was heading to 50 and didn't have a clue. So anyway, well, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and the bedroom door creaks open. Wouldn't say it flew open, it just creaked open. I thought, oh, this bloke must be going to ask his mum something. And I was just lying there sort of semi-asleep, and the next thing you know, he hops into bed with us. 16, 17-year-old, 6'4". I need my mummy with a strange man in the bed. Where or how does that get learned? Where or how does that get learned? See, what'll happen is women will become so unattracted to their husbands, they'll let their children jump into bed with them as a more thorough source of comfort and contentment. And what they're actually doing, and many of you have seen this and experienced this, and probably some of you are doing this, they're making that child a surrogate partner. It's actually really in the emotional realm. Look, I don't want to say it, but I have to. It's an emotional form of threesomes and foursomes, and you shouldn't attach emotionally to children in this way. Yes, as parent-child, but not in this way. Crossing over from parent to child to trying to meet needs that are just not meant to be met by children. So what is the point? Coming back to needing to walk away. You can become overly devoted and overly faithful to the point where you are blind, right? And how do you find your way out of that? Well, you'll be getting signals, you'll be getting red flags, you'll be getting, I'm not comfortable here, or I could possibly do better than this. And sometimes it's our fear of not just leaving, but failure if we leave, that stops us from walking away. And believe me, guys, it always works out. I've always been one that's never been scared to walk away. I'll give grace and all this other stuff, but fuck me too hard, I will walk away. And it'll be quick and it'll be hard, sharp. I'll explain myself. G'day, buddy. But I will, absolutely 100%, I will walk fucking away if you try and fuck my ass, as it were, in life. And sometimes just the call of the universe will make you walk away. There's many different reasons why you have to learn to not let faithfulness and loyalty blind you to the life that you should be living now, and walk away. Now, I'm not speaking to people that are in healthy marriages, and by that I mean marriages do have their pressure points and boiling points, but that's all part of it. That's what helps us grow, and that's what makes life and love worth it. Because even within the dynamics of marriage, we're constantly growing and evolving and learning and being challenged and receiving the blessings and stuff, even within marriage. But as you get older in life, as I've gotten older, I've learnt to realise that there's a strong possibility that things are not going to work out. And there's a strong possibility that you're going to possibly, not that it's the desired goal, need to walk away. That's what I'm finding. And the best way, and the best thing that you can do to be able to walk away is to not attach, to co-join and play your part, be loving and caring and kind and giving. But if the situation starts to crush down around you and you're going to get stranded, which happens a lot of the time, not all of the time, possibly it's going to be you that's, going to cause the marooning. When you're not attached dysfunctionally attached. This last girl was all about codependency. I'm thinking, you fucking don't know me from a bar of soap. Codependency? Oh, I don't think that's possible in my world. No. That's the first way in which you'll be able to walk away. It's like a spaceship, I'll finish with this, that's taken off. The first part of the vessel has used its fuel, and you press the button and that part of the vessel detaches and is jettisoned, and the spaceship flies on without it. Press the button if you have to and walk away. And as you walk away, all hell will break loose in your emotions. It'll be like your hair's on fire. They say it's like your hair's on fire. You're trying to deal with it, and it's what it's like. But when it has to be, and you know what, you'll be doing somebody a favour if you tell them what the problem is, like your fucking children interfering and you're allowing it, blah blah blah, and they want that to happen. Walk away. It'll make them stop and think and go, fuck, it really was true what he said, and it really was damaging. And that person now has to live with their decisions or their fucking protection of the dysfunction of the children, or the cultural domestic pattern that they've caused for themselves with their adult children that's totally fucking out of order and destructive. They possibly stop and look at it with a bit more fucking discernment. This Pro Bricky on the Pro Bricky exclusive YouTube channel, otherwise known as Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, Theologist. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.